Will Aubrey here from Murray Sportsnet with my buddy Jeremy Bell. And Jeremy, give us the report on the Murray High Tigers. They're 1-2 right now, coming off of a loss.
Yeah, I really thought last week against Graves County the Tigers played much better. The score may not indicate, but I do think the game was very close. In the second half, it was a 14-7 ball game. The Tigers, I think midway through the third quarter, had just scored. They kicked it to Graves County, and they had a chance on a third down to stop them, and a chance to get the ball back right after they had just scored. A chance to go down to make it even take the lead because Graves County had missed the extra point, so it was 13-7 at the time. They had an opportunity to come down and to win, a chance to take the lead, and they couldn't stop them on third down. And really the big plays got them. And I think that's really what this year has been, big plays. Talked to the coaches yesterday. They both seem to think that, we got to work on our tackling. We got to be able to stop those big plays. But I do think both offensively and defensively, they played much better last week. And this week we're actually going to get our quarterback back. Hunter Utley was off last week because he sustained a concussion in the Callaway County game. So he spent last week on the sidelines, which, by the way, he didn't like very well because he wanted to be in the ball game. So this week we're going to get him back. We may even see a little bit of a two-quarterback set just to kind of give both the quarterbacks a little bit of rest. So, but much better last week, and I know this schedule here is tough. Murray's playing some tough teams. They got Hopkinsville on Friday night, so it's not going to get any easier, but I do think they played better last week.
You mentioned Hunter Utley, and I was very impressed by his play against Callaway. He seems to have a lot of ability, and he can throw it as well as run the football. So with him back, that should bode well for the Tigers.
I think so. This week we actually are going to get back to what we were trying to do, maybe 2 weeks ago when we played Callaway, or even 3 weeks ago when we played West Green. We're going to kind of get back to that same offense. And surprisingly enough, it may be a little more of the spread offense, which means we may actually throw the ball more, which is kind of a surprise for any Murray team. But, we may not have that one true dominant back with Andrew Pager being out. In years past, we've had, guys like Malik Britt, Dave Giovanni Miles back there, strong, powerful, quick backs. But Michael Parks has kind of been that guy, and he's not maybe the fastest. He is pretty strong, but they want to be able to at least get Hunter out in the open, maybe get to be able to throw the ball because he's got a very good arm, and he's going to be a very, very, very good quarterback for the team. He's probably the first maybe true quarterback that Murray has had in a while. Dave Giovanni Miles the last 2 years has just been a tremendous athlete, and you want your great athletes to always have the ball, and I think that's why they went with him at quarterback, because he was going to be touching the ball. But I do believe there's a huge upside to Hunter Utley, and he does have a very, very strong arm, and he's quick, but he's also a good thinker as well. So he's always looking ahead. What do I do next? Where do I need to go? He's learning the game, but yet he also knows the game very well.
You mentioned Hopkinsville, and that's who you guys play tomorrow night. They're a really tough team.
They are a tough team. I talked to the coaches yesterday. The one key element for the Tigers is going to be they're going to have to be able to contain the Hopkinsville backs. They are very speedy, and the coaches yesterday said we got to keep them between the tackles. If they get to the outside, we're in trouble. Again, we're not as speedy a team as what we have been in the past, so anybody gets out in front, they may take off from them. But the one key thing was going to be we've got to be able to contain their backs, keep them between the tackles, and maybe we've got a very good chance in this ball game. I think a lot of people think that Hopkinsville is just going to kind of roll over the Tigers. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do believe we've got to keep them contained, got to keep them between the tackles, because they do not like to run the ball between the tackles because they're not that big as far as the running backs go, but they are very, very quick. And I thought last week, even though Graves was a little bit bigger team, I thought we were able to push him around. And I think if we can push around and get to that backfield a little bit quicker, I think Murray High's got a real solid chance Friday night against Hopkinsville. But they, again, Hopkinsville a very good team nonetheless. I think top 5 maybe in the state in their class. But they, it's going to be a very tough game. It's on the road. It's at the Stadium of Champions, which is going to make it even tougher. The Tigers are on the road for the next 2 weeks. As they've been on the road, they have not been to Ty Holland yet. But I do think they've got a really good chance that they can at least keep those guys between the tackles.
Well, one thing when you're enduring some losses, especially in a program where you're not used to it, that's a major factor is morale. How are the kids bearing up?
I think it's okay. These kids have not probably experienced anything like this before. The Duncan era, whenever Steve Duncan was there, they were winning, and they were winning all the time. I think I'm a big advocate of the schedule. I'm a big believer in let's play a tough schedule. That's why you play you play the rival games. You play Callaway County, even though at times maybe during the past in the rivalry, one or the other team may not have had the greatest of teams, but yet it's that intensity that you want to see. It's that 4 quarters of play. It's just that rivalry. So I'm a big believer in schedule. I'm not looking at record right now because I do believe the Tigers are going to be a much better football team at the end of the year. I like the tough teams that they're playing. I don't like maybe the easier teams. Yeah, it's great for morale and everything, but I do think that you play a tough schedule and you play these tough teams, by the end of the year, you're going to know how to act. You're going to know how to play. If you've had to play 4 quarters just about every game, those teams that don't play the 4 quarters, you're going to out-hustle them. You're going to outplay them. You're not going to be as tired as what they are. So I think they're okay. A win certainly would be great. And they may not get a win this week. I have full confidence that they're going to try their best and they're going to do their best and they're going to hustle and try to get a win. And that win may not come until next week or the week after or whatever. But I do think they're okay right now. It's just they're struggling a little bit, but I do think the coaching staff's been on them that, look, the wins are going to come, and they will come.